Hello guys, this is Gabby. Welcome to my channel. I haven't been here in a long time. Life has gotten in the way. I fell into a reading slump, etc, etc. But I really needed to talk about this book. So if it's the first time you stumble into my channel, welcome. If you had been here and haven't heard from me in a while and you thought I died, welcome back. I'm alive. So today I'm gonna talk about BEARTOWN from Fredrik Backman. I needed to take a break from fantasy, so I finally got to read this book that's been in my TBR for a long time. And this was even better than I thought it would be. It got me so much. It was so beautiful and so hard to read at the same time. Fredrik Backman writes literary fiction. This is the second book that I've read from him. The first one was a novella called And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer, and it broke my heart from start to finish. So I kind of expected this book to get to my emotions pretty easily, and it did. First of all, I rated this book 5 stars out of 5 in Goodreads because in honesty, I don't have any complaints about it. I love the prose, I love the themes, the plot, the characters. So I'm pretty much gonna break it down to you, so I tell you why I loved it and why I very much recommend it. So Fredrik Backman's prose is both beautiful and powerful at the same time. Not just because of the themes he's talking about, but because he goes straight to the point in such a poetic yet simple way. He gets straight to your emotions because he's kind of, how I would say, it's like that feeling when someone stabs you with a fork and then turns it around with pretty words, but they hurt nonetheless. And I love that bluntness in authors, in writing in general. So I maybe should have started with the plot, but this book is about a very small town in Sweden that's been decaying over time, and the whole town revolves around ice hockey, specifically this junior team from a high school. Their all hopes of this town getting up again relies on if these guys win the championship. So there's a lot of pressure into this team and everything revolves around it. And the first 35% of the book is about setting up from what's the conflict gonna be. And you may say like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a huge chunk of the book, which it is. But it didn't bother me at all because the setup was so well done and so necessary. Because as I'm gonna talk later about the characters, Backman talks about people. So he's setting up, getting us to know all these people before the big things happen. So what really happens, I'm not gonna get into spoilers, but it's a really violent event and how people reacts about that event. It's a very straightforward plot. As I said before, it sets up for the conflict happens, how people react to that. It doesn't sound like much, but Backman writes it in such a compelling way and focuses so much in the characters and stays true to their nature that, I don't know, I couldn't stop reading. So if there's an aspect in where Backman really shines in his writing is the characterization. And this mixes a little bit with the themes of the story. So what he excels in is in writing human emotions in such a blunt way and compelling and deep, and he writes characters that are so honest. He doesn't write fictional characters. He talks about people. We have like 10 viewpoints, I think, in this story, and you might think like, oh, he gets just a little bit, but he dives in so deep into all of these characters that are some of them that you think, what does them have to do with the actual story. Like the woman that runs the pub, like a mother of one of the players that is not a central character of the story, but they all matter because they represent something for the themes that Bachman tries to talk about, which are so many, like parenting, emotions of trauma, how to deal with them, anxiety, PTSD, or this society notion that we just turn our head and pretend to don't see some themes that we're not comfortable about, instead of confronting them and really analyze them and feel empathy for other people. I don't know, Bachman's characters are so honest and real that they hurt, because we're not black and white characters. We're not just talking and thinking about what's right and wrong. We all have lights and shades in us, and he portrays them with such mastery. Is that a word? You know what I mean. I was so confused with my emotions of how to feel about certain characters, because I kind of felt for them in some ways, but I felt disgusted by them in other ways. And that's exactly what he's trying to write, what he's trying to show us, because that's us. I am rambling a little bit. I am so sorry. His character work is fantastic. I enjoyed it so much. I very much recommend it. Now I'm gonna go to the trigger warnings, because this is an important thing. So this book has really heavy themes that are hard to read for almost anyone, I think, but some people are more triggered by them than others. And those are, in this book specifically, bullying and sexual assault. So if you are really uncomfortable or triggered by these topics, I don't really recommend you to read it, because it's really hard. It's kind of explicit in some points of the story. So yes. So anyway, that was my review for BEARTOWN from Frederick Backman. This is the first book in a 2-book series, I think. I'm definitely gonna read the other one. I loved it so much. I would love to keep chatting with you about it in the comments. Let me know your opinions about this book if you read it. I would love to talk with you about them. And thank you guys for watching, and see you in the future.